Too bad.
What's your response to some of the people that thought you were being disrespectful by being on your phone and not being attentive to them?
Well, I was on my phone, and yes, that's true. I was following developments with a 5-year-old little girl sitting on her dad's lap who just got shot in the head by a drive-by shooting. And if some of the people here gave a good goddamn about the victimization of people in this community by crime, I take some of their invective more seriously. The greatest racial disparity in the city of Milwaukee is getting shot and killed. Hello. 80% of my homicide victims every year are African American. 80% of our aggravated assault victims are African American. 80% of our shooting victims who survived their shooting are African American. Now, they know all about the last 3 people that have been killed by the Milwaukee Police Department over the course of the last several years. There's not one of them can name one of the last 3 homicide victims we've had in this city. Now, there's room for everybody to participate in fixing this police department, and I'm not pretending we're without sin. But this community is at risk, all right. And it's not because men and women in blue risk their lives protecting it. It's at risk because we have large numbers of high-capacity, quality firearms in the hands of remorseless criminals who don't care who they shoot.
We're looking at the problems with same-sex marriage, how it becomes a legal platform for exposing our children to homosexual material. We've seen the problems with introducing elementary school kids to same-sex marriage and how same-sex marriage inevitably undermines parental rights. Now let's look at another problem, the incredible impact on at-risk children who are placed in same-sex households.
Sometimes homosexual activists will argue that children raised by homosexual parents are no different from children raised by heterosexual parents. Unfortunately, the evidence simply does not support that. And there was a study conducted recently which looked at the family histories of 262 children raised by homosexual fathers or lesbian mothers. And it found that the percentages of children of homosexual parents who themselves became something other than heterosexual, gay, lesbian, bisexual, or unsure of their sexual orientation, ranged from 16% of those children to as high as 57% of those children. Daughters of lesbian mothers had the highest rates, anywhere from 33 to 57%. Just to understand, the percentage of the total American population that identify themselves as either homosexual or bisexual was 3.5%, according to a very recent study. If you want to talk about the ratio, it's somewhere from 5 to 15 times as likely to be homosexual or bisexual as the general population. Children raised by homosexual parents turn out very differently from children raised by heterosexual parents.
We can do that. But if we do, I can tell you that in the next election, we'll be talking about some other distraction. And then another one. And then another one. And nothing will change. In this election, we can come together and say, not this time. This time we want to talk about the crumbling schools that are stealing the future of black children and white children and Asian children and Hispanic children and Native American children. This time we want to reject the cynicism that tells us that these kids can't learn, that those kids who don't look like us are somebody else's problem. The children of America are not those kids, they are our kids, and we will not let them fall behind in the 21st century economy.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Football star Ray Rice following his then-fiancée Janae into an Atlantic City hotel elevator, striking her once, then again, seemingly punching her so hard she hits a railing and is knocked out cold. You see her here, lying on the floor, then slumped near the elevator. Players today appalled. By early afternoon,
Asians look alike. Okay. I don't want to look like everyone else. Number 4. Asians. Pot smoking. Could you imagine how you would look if you were a high Asian? Okay. It's called chinkai, right?
Oh.
Well, what if you already have chinkais? Double chinkai?
It'll be hard for me to play as hard as I'm capable of playing. And if people can't respect my decision, that's tough.
I kind of understood how he was feeling. I didn't understand the public commenting.
When it blew up like it did, I was still sitting there saying, what's the big fuss about? A lot of people thought it and wouldn't say it. I said it. Do I regret saying it? No, I don't regret saying it because it happened. Maybe me being a country bumpkin at the time just said what my grandpa would have said. What the hell going on here? I'm not playing with this guy. You know, this guy here could give me AIDS. I can go and start swiveling up to nothing.
I felt that I knew Carl pretty good. You know, we had formed a relationship over in Barcelona. I could take other people behind my back, but it was hard for me to take Carl saying bad things about me.
Karl Malone and some other people were saying they didn't want to play with him. What Irvin didn't know was his own teammates were coming to me in the training room when he wasn't around saying, what's really going on? I mean, can I get the, you know? And I'm going, no, man, you can't get it that way. Don't worry about it. You're going to be fine.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
Declare our rank on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by